Classic.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chatting with the Comic Community. I'm joined by Big Will Comics. How you doing, Will?
I am doing pretty good. I tried to come and join y'all last weekend, but things happened, technical difficulties. I was on the road, but I am here. I have arrived. I'm ready to go.
And I know you have some stories to tell about last week as well.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Cool. I just want to shout out the chat. You know, we got Cookie in the chat. What's going on? And my boy VV. If y'all have not seen, yesterday we did a live stream talking about the 39th anniversary of Conan the Barbarian. So, y'all Barbarian fans and you worship crime, go check out that video that me and VV did. So, when it comes to new books, I don't really have much. What's up? Oh,
Conan.
When it comes to new books, I don't really have much, but I did order some books from not that Crime cares. Hey, Crime cares about us, man. A couple of months ago, me and Will was a part of a live stream where we talked with Sebastian Jones of Stranger Comics. So if y'all follow Stranger Comics on Instagram, they do amazing live streams every Thursday night. They give away stuff. They sell books, you know, and he does a great job of selling his product. And you can see if you watch those live streams that a lot of people are invested in this comics and the characters involved. So I was able to get a 4-signature variant issue of Niobe She Is Death, signed by everybody who worked on it. Beautiful work there. And they also are huge on the foils, so I picked up 2 foil covers. I have the Niobe She Is Life foil. And She Is Death foil. And the signatures on the inside of the book.
Mm.
And they be having some.
You wouldn't want it on the foil.
Yeah, I want it on the inside, and you know I got these for a good price compared to what they originally go for. You know, these are like $50 each, but I got them for like $80. And yeah, just make sure y'all check out Stranger Comics on Instagram. Great site, great page, all for representation. Great stories. I read the first hardcover of The Untamed, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoy the world building that this company is doing. And check out the interview I did back in February with Stranger Comics. Amazing person, pretty hilarious, you know, with how he tells his stories, and he was just a great dude. So make sure y'all go and check that out.
Yeah. So, what else is on the agenda today?
Well, I felt like we talked a good bit backstage about the Falcon and Winter Soldier and the whole Black Superman, but it's something that we can revisit after we, show comics and stuff like that, and any news that we can talk about.
All right. Well, are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm not the recent movies, but I will consider myself a Star Wars fan.
Did you check out anything with the Bad Batch?
I have not watched that yet. You know, I've been wanting to sit down and watch it, but I have not got to it yet.
I haven't seen yesterday's episode, but I saw the first 2. I like it, but I'm not a Star Wars fan, as in fanatic. I like Star Wars. Personally, I think Star Trek's better, but I enjoyed it. It's a cartoon, of course, like the Clone Wars and that style, and yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I heard good things about it, so I'm 3 episodes behind, so I'll probably catch up on it.
But anyway, if you remember last Saturday, I joined in and said, Oh, that's hilarious. Yes, fight me. But anyway, uh, last Saturday I had joined in to say, "Hey, we're going to this thing that I found. It's like a little flea market kind of thing, and I saw some comics there. And we went, and it was a little weird. It was like a store where you go in and it's set up different booths like a flea market, and you go and you get your stuff, and then you bring it to the counter, and everything has a price on it, and they ring you up, and you get charged the tax. Didn't realize it was tax. Normally you can skirt that at a flea market, but anyway, you pay for your stuff and you leave. So I went down. What's going on, Jeff? We went down there. Not a lot of stuff. It was a smaller booth than what we pictured. Had sort of crappy comics. I mean, the best stuff was high grade, but that's all you could say about it. Really, it's not worth that much. But I got a few mystery boxes or bags, I should say, and a couple of books specifically. I think I spent like $38. And I got my IG has some of the stuff that I found for sale. I did find a few minor keys. But then my buddy that I was with looks on his phone and finds this place called Saturday Vintage. And they're only open on Saturdays, and all they sell is vintage comics. And I don't mean vintage as in they have 90s stuff.
90s is not even considered vintage.
Yeah, technically, with age, it is considered vintage, but it's not vintage as far as comic books go. But you know how you see someone say, "We sell vintage," it's a bunch of 90s trash. But this place, copper was as young as it got. Mainly, it was silver and bronze. And anyway, we went down there, and all they had was vintage comics. Nothing. They had like 4 walls worth covered in nothing but silver and bronze books, man. I mean, they had a ton of Spider-Man, just about every key except I don't think they had 300 or 361 because they're really hot right now. And on the other side of the same wall display they had, it was all X-Men. They had Neil Adams stuff. They had a bunch of under 150 books and everything. It was all X-Men, some more silver. It was great. And then you went on the other wall, and it was nothing but silver Daredevil and a few classics DC stuff like Superman and whatnot. Then you went on the other wall, and it was all FF, Silver Age, and stuff like that. And then they had like probably 50 or so long boxes, nothing but silver and bronze and maybe a couple other things. Like you had a little bit of copper and all that. And you could go through there and look through there. And then you went to the counter, and it was a glass counter, and they had the big keys under there. I mean, they had FF 48, 49, 50. They had the first Black Cat, Secret Wars 8, ASM 252, She-Hulk 1, Iron Fist 1, Iron Fist 14, Marvel Premiere 15. I mean, they had all sorts of crap in there, man. It is a honey hole I have found here in Alabama. It's only like an hour and a half, hour and 50-minute drive tops from where I'm at. And yeah, it's great.
But they only open on Saturdays. Wow. A one-day shop.
Yeah, it's a shop. A dude owns like a business and owns the building. And it's like a car dealership, or not a dealership, but they do like detailing or something. Anyway, and he had extra room, so he just put like a little comic shop in there for his collection. And it's not an actual shop. They don't have new comics that come in or anything. It's just vintage stuff. And they have zero overhead, so you can haggle down and get deals because it's just extra room he had in the building he had for his business. So all he does is he puts his collection in there and sells it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And see, this is why I say if you're gonna call your shop vintage, I don't want to walk in there and see no 90s shit, man. Like you say, 90s may be considered vintage, but when I think of vintage, I think of shit from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and maybe some golden age and stuff. That's vintage for me. And damn, I wish you was able to get some video last week, man.
I'm going back. Don't you worry. Not today, obviously, but I'm going back. I will get you some filming there.
Oh,
and,
man.
Cwtcc and John, what's going on?
What's going on?
But anyway, yeah, it was amazing. I didn't have a whole lot of cash on me, but I did pick up a few things. First thing I picked up was a 5-issue set of Doc Savage, man.
Oh, nice.
They had all this was a set. Number 1, number 2. You only ever see number 1 when people sell it. Number 3, number 4, and then of course number 5. All 20-cent Marvel.
Awesome.
I thought that was great. And then I went over to that FF wall, got ready, cracked my fingers, got to looking, and there was a lot of stuff, but I had to control myself. I had to keep calm. I did down, boy. I had to be okay. And anyway, I did walk out with issue 36.
Nice. Love the Frightful Four.
First Medusa, too. And then, you know how I told you they had the glass case and everything? I stared at that for a while.
Oh, that's troublesome. That's troublesome when you staring at the glass case for a while.
I stared at a while, and so did my buddy. And so I got this.
Nice.
And,
nice.
And he picked up, I forget which issue number it is. I think it's X-Men 129. First Kitty Pryde, first Hellfire, first Emma Frost, all that. He picked up that and Iron Fist 14, first Sabretooth. So that's what he walked away with.
That is awesome.
Anyway, yeah, I got a little excited there. So, but that's what I wound up walking away with. Plus, I had about a stack this big of Lois Lane for the PC that I picked up. Plus, I spent a little money and got a short box that I now keep in the car because I keep forgetting to bring my folio in the car when I go to the comic shop or other. So I just got me a little short box there while I was there and thinking about it. And it's going to stay in the car, so I always have a box of something to put my comics in the car.
Nice.
And how much would you guess I paid for my stack of Lois Lane and all this other stuff, plus the box together?
It's either just over 100 or just under 100. I want to go with over 100.
It was over 100. I paid 200 for everything. Because you got to remember, I also had a stack of Lois Lane too that took up a lot of it. Plus the Doc Savage and the FF and the Iron Fist and the box. So all that together was 200. No tax or anything. I just handed him $200 bills and boom, I was done.
Dang.
So I think I walked out there and did pretty dang good.
And finding that place was a great thing after that flea market.
Yeah, it was. And my buddy, thank you. My buddy, he paid less than $600 for the 2 books he got, and the Iron Fist is in the like a 7 something, and the X-Men book also grades over a 7.0. So that's like almost $1,000 worth of books right there. And he paid less than $6.
That's awesome right there.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to go back. I'm going to I want to spend more money because if I got more stuff, I could have done the bundle, got that price lower in general for everything. So I could have done even better. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm happy. And that was my adventure last Saturday.
Man, that store, man. For a 1 day store, that you ain't got to worry. Like, people got to go there just for 1 day. So you ain't got to worry about them being open every day and people going in there and getting what they need and stuff. It's just a 1 day store. That's surprising. But that'll make the Saturday worth it, just to head up there and shop.
But and the cool thing is, I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. But Roy Thomas is coming back to CGC for a private signing.
Oh, yep.
Roy Thomas wrote this.
Yep.
I may be sending this in for Roy Thomas. Get it graded, pressed and cleaned, and signed on the DL by doing the CGC private signing. And I'm not going to wait 6 months for this. It's guaranteed 6 weeks expedited, because it's a private sign.
Yeah.
So I think this thing might get a signature here in the near future.
Awesome.
I'm not sure though. We'll have to see.
And like all the books they had there were like decent shape or high grades.
I noticed depending on what it is. I mean, you go back to FF, 30 something or 20 something. You're hoping for a 5, you accept a 3.5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But most of the books that were from the 70s or a little later were between like 7.0 and 9.0. Most of them. I didn't get to look through any of the long boxes. This was all wall stuff that I got. So I would imagine they do have some other things that are even higher grade and probably some things that are lower grade too. But yeah, it wasn't bad. I would have liked to have had, if they had their She-Hulk that was in the case, if it was a higher grade, I would have walked out of there with a She-Hulk 1 instead, but it wasn't a high enough grade. And when I say that, I mean it was like maybe an 8.0, 8.5, which ain't bad for a book that's 41 years old, but still, I decided to go with what I have here.
And did he have the prices on all the books?
Price was on every single book.
Good.
And he went by that, and we added it up, his sticker price, and then negotiated from there. And I didn't negotiate too hard because he hit me with 200. I said, well, how about 190, and then I give you another 10, and I buy a box from you. And he goes, okay. So I probably could have haggled more and got it a little cheaper, but I was happy with the price for what I was getting. And it's first time ever being there, first time meeting the dude. You don't want to go, haggle hard first time because you don't know how they are.
You ease your way in, a couple of times, show that you're interested, purchase some stuff, and then after that, he probably see you as a customer that's going to come at least once a month, and then you'll probably get more deals.
We already actually fixed that because my buddy bought from him. And he did most of it in cash, and then he had to do a little in PayPal, friends and family. That way the guy didn't charge him, tax and everything. So he did it, and for some reason he wasn't paying attention, and my buddy sent him $30 less than he was supposed to. And we got like 30 minutes down the road, and we got to talking about his deal, and I'm like, no, it was this price, which was $30 more. And he goes, are you sure? I go, I'm pretty sure. So we called the guy. He said, yes, it was supposed to be $30 higher. And we apologized, and we sent him the money, an extra 30 through PayPal right then. And he hadn't even looked, so he didn't even notice till we mentioned it, and was like, wow, thanks for being so honest and everything. So I'm like, okay, we are now approved of in this dude's,
That's
mind,
awesome,
because we were honest,
Yeah. A lot of people just walk away with that and say, hey, I got $30 less, but at least y'all was honest and told, truthful. So
yeah, which tells me I'm going to get a little discount next time, a little extra probably. I just
that's
smile,
awesome, though.
Pat my eyelashes real good,
That's awesome, man. I wish I could join you next time you go.
Well, you can. You're not that far away. Good Lord.
I know, but sometimes you don't want to take the trip unless I have a vacation, and I ain't even taking vacation yet this year.
Well, I don't know where are you in Florida? Like, are you in the Panhandle or the
Orlando.
Orlando? That's pretty far down, isn't it?
It's in the
Yeah.
Central Florida area.
Well, Central Florida would probably take too long to do a drive, but the shop's outside Birmingham, so it's actually a little closer than if it was like, say, Huntsville or something like that. But I mean, if you're coming from Central Florida, that's probably a good 6-7 hour drive.
You went to the Huntsville con as well, right? Wasn't that last month?
Yeah, it was last month.
So how was that?
Oh, that was awesome, man. I spent $900, which is why I could only get an Iron Fist first appearance at this shop. And yeah, man, I got a whole bunch of stuff. I already sold some. Got a bunch, and I got like 30 something books at CBCS right now getting graded. I got 5, I think, coming back already, and I got another one that should be shipping any day, and then there's other stuff getting graded now. And a couple of them are going to take a while because I wasn't able to do anything to make them faster. So, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because I saw some photos of some members of the community there. I know Two Brothers Comics was there, and a couple other folks.
Yep.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
It's great to see cons slowly coming back. They starting with the small cons, then, some of the bigger cons will come later, but.
Yeah. But the only downside was this right here on this Iron Fist. That mold stuff, it's like crusty. So I'm hoping a press and clean can knock a lot of that off if they clean it. And then it just be stained. Because, I mean, that looks bad, but when you look at it right here, it's not that bad.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that'll help. And I'm very scared of CCS. They have an image that isn't very good, but I can also jack up the insurance, so I'll be good to go if they mess it up. So I think I'll be okay.
Awesome, man. Nice stuff that you got there. And like I said, the next time I know you'll pop in with a video on the live stream, and it's going to be fun exploring that place through the video.
Yeah. I mean, I hope I didn't build it up too much, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. I enjoyed it. I just wish I had more money.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Hey, next time I'm definitely going to look through their long boxes and see what kind of goodies are in there, because pretty much it's Marvel that are on the wall. I might be able to find some deals on some DC stuff if I look through those boxes.
Deals all to be had.
Deals are always to be had. You just got to be willing and got to look.
Hey, John, if you want to come on, I sent you the link. Be nice to have King Johnfrey in. Yeah.
But yeah, man, this thing's definitely going to get graded. But I figure FF, I got plenty of time to send this thing off. So I'm going to wait a while, see if I can't get some more FF to go with it, because I hate sending 1 or 2 books by themselves. The Doc Savage set, I've already got on my IG for sale. You know me, if anyone's interested. And man, yeah, I like a good Doc Savage. I like this #1. It's that 20-cent frame book Marvel. I just like the look of it, man.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah. So it's on the IG. The Iron Fist is on the IG too, but it's not. It doesn't have a price or anything on it because I'm pretty much decided to send that to the private signing, and the FF isn't on the IG at all because it's definitely going to get graded at some point in the future.
I will post it up on IG and say not for sale just yet.
I may do that.
Man, that's some good. Did they have 52?
Yes, I think they did.
Because if they have 48, 49, 50, I know 52 right around the corner of that.
Yeah, I think they did. Man, I'm still kind of on a high from last week going to the shop. That's how awesome I thought it was. So I definitely want to go back and see what I can get. Now that I know, now that he knows I'm an honest dude, and now that I've been there before and I know he's willing to haggle a little, I think I might be able to do something. Because he has, like I said, no overhead, because it's just him in a building that he already owns and pays for through another business. And, he does it as that's his collection. He's just willing to sell it and get things in and all that.
So everything in that store is his collection that he accumulated over the years.
Based on what little he told me, yes, that's his collection, and he just has it to sell, and he's always getting stuff in and selling stuff. And now, although he did mention that a downside is only being open one day, is that a couple times when the market started to heat up the first time in like February, March, he said a lot of dealers went in there and really cleared him out, but he was only open one day a week, so he didn't realize that he was letting things go for way, way off what they currently are at. So he had to redo his pricing on all the stuff that was left. So, yeah, man, they went in there like hawks, he said, and he got a whole bunch of stuff bought up by other dealers that knew he was only open on Saturday and didn't get information until, it's a little later.
Wow. So you would think like you got a whole week to like just check the market and stuff and see what's hot so you can change the price on it.
Yeah. But I assume he's just busy, and so he wasn't able to. But that means that there's probably going to be something there that you can find for a real good price.
Nice. Now, like I said, that's gonna make that second visit even more fun. When you're gonna be grinning and shaking, rubbing your hands like, man, I can't wait till we get there, man. Because just the thought of a store that opened one day a week and it sells nothing but silver and Bronze Age books for majority of it, and just seeing the wall of excellence, as I usually call it, when they have those big books up there, and if you got a person that's willing to negotiate, and stuff, and you're coming back as a repeat customer, it could be nothing but good things happen, and that's how I feel that a service should be. If you're a good customer service, and if you're there and you're buying stuff from him and he's willing to negotiate, nothing but good things can happen.
Yeah. So what I don't understand is people who aren't willing to, I understand having the certain books that you don't want to move the price, you don't want to haggle on, because you got it at that price and it's hot, it's a good book, and that's the price you want to sell it for. But doing that for everything, I don't understand how you can survive without being willing to haggle a little bit on some stuff.
Yeah, it's like some of these guys don't want to sell their stuff. They sell it at one price and then it's just there on the wall collecting dust because they don't want to have a little negotiation and stuff like, I can give it to you for this price, stuff like that. Or, say, hey, I want to move some of the stuff. I don't want this sitting on my wall and being like a museum, like we say on the Comic Call.
Yeah, like one of the guys at the convention, he was a haggle machine. I was talking to him and, getting stuff with this off. If I do this and get this, can I have it for this price? He was really good about working with me on everything until I got to one book. Strange Adventures 205, the first appearance of Dead Man. It's a really hard book to find, and it's a book that is a first appearance key of Dead Man. Great character. The cover is awesome. It's a special book. He had it for $200, and I asked him, and he's like, no, that book I'm not budging on. I know what it is. I know what it could be. I know what it will be. $200 is my price. So I paid $200 because he didn't want to move. But I also know what that book is, know what it will be, and know what it could be. So, yeah, now that's okay if you have that one book or the couple of books you don't move on, but not moving on anything, I don't get it.
I mean, I will say for that first appearance of Deadman, 200 is not bad. And what was the grade of that book in terms of how it looked?
Well, I've already got it sent off, so I'm having to work on memory here. I think it was, I think it might be a 4.0.
Okay, still not bad for a first appearance of Deadman. I mean,
Well, I also plan on having to hold that one for a good many years too. So,
because there are books
I'm
out
okay.
there that you think, I would think the first Deadman, even at a 4 or 5.0, will run about $600, something like that. That's what I would think. But
Yeah.
200, if you're chasing a Deadman key, first appearance of Deadman, and I see it for 200, even if he wouldn't budge for maybe 180 or something like that,
Yeah.
I still think it's pretty decent.
Yeah, let me educate you a little bit here on Dead Man. Dead Man is odd because his biggest keys are his first appearance in Strange Adventures 205, his second appearance in 206, and then 207, where you have an award-winning cover, and Neil Adams did interior and cover, where in the previous one he only did the interior. It's Carmine Infantino did the cover, and then of course Neil Adams had nothing to do, as far as I know, with 205. He didn't do any of the art on it. Those are the three big books, and 205 is the only one that's actually expensive. You could spend less than $100 for each of the others in pretty decent grade, and I don't know why. So one thing I plan on doing when I have some more free cash that I can buy on something that I know is going to be a big hold is to buy 206 and 207 and just hold them, because man, 205 is a rare book. You hardly ever see it. I mean, DS Comics has never had that book. He's never been able to own that book. So it is a hard book to find, especially complete and halfway decent condition. So 206 and 207, they're a little bit easier to find, but still. I mean, you're talking Dead Man, Neil Adams, award-winning covers, second and third appearance. I mean, there's a lot to go with there, but it's just Dead Man's kind of under the radar right now. And I don't know why, because he's perfect for Justice League Dark, which they've already done 2 different animated movies. It's already been a series, and they keep talking about making it into a series or a movie with WB. I mean, whether they do or not, I don't know. But I'm just saying, Dead Man's he's a character to grab.
Yeah. And, when it comes to DC Warner Brothers, like we talked off air and their movies, It's like they're so unpredictable on how they want to announce stuff. They want to come up with all these different movies and stuff. But then I'm like, man, you focus on the ones you got in production right now.
Yeah.
Another character that I really liked it on, the TV, like Constantine TV series, was Spectre. He was another character that I enjoyed.
They had him, and then the show got canceled. That was so anger-inducing for me.
It was.
You have one of the most powerful characters that could wipe the floor with Superman, and then you just canceled the show. What? Oh man, come on.
And that show was pretty good. I enjoyed the Constantine show. I just felt that it was on the wrong network. The network didn't let it thrive.
I would agree with that. I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't the best, but Matt Ryan's one of the best live action. He is Constantine, basically.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan is great. I love Keanu Reeves, but y'all need to stop wanting him to be Constantine. It's Matt Ryan. That's Constantine.
Exactly. But I liked the Keanu Reeves movie, me and VV talked about it. But I felt like Matt Ryan was a better description of the character in terms of look, how he acted it, and stuff like that. I felt that he was perfect.
And he's British.
Yes. He was British.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that
And then the funny thing, I grew up more of a Marvel fan. Like DC was mainly Batman and Superman that I connected with because they had movies. But it was one of the reasons why I checked out the Constantine show and I watched the CW shows because I was getting a bit tired of Batman and Superman always getting movies. I wanted to see some more of the DC universe that I didn't really read in the comics, because I wasn't as enamored to their characters as I was with Marvel. So when I watched the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves, I enjoyed it. And then when the TV series came out, I knew I wanted to give it a read because I did read the Garth Ennis run.
I like Vigilante. Yeah, that is the perfect quote. The Constantine movie is the perfect Constantine movie without having Constantine in the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we said that. We actually talked about how that movie was great, but Keanu Reeves wasn't like Constantine in it. He was more of himself. I saw Keanu Reeves as Keanu Reeves more than I saw him playing Constantine.
And I love me some Keanu Reeves as Keanu Reeves, but still, Matt Ryan is Constantine. We should make shirts, man. Matt Ryan is Constantine.
With him on the picture on the shirt.
And I've met him too. He's a great guy. Funny.
Awesome.
Oddly, not that tall, but
who cares, man? As long as he delivers the character that we all knew and love, that's all that matters to me. Because I ain't start reading Constantine until like maybe the 2010s.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this though. Constantine had his own show for a while. He made some appearances in some CW stuff, and now he's a cast member of the Legends of Tomorrow. Now, for me, most of the CW shows' first seasons are pretty great, or they just suck from the start. And then about the third season, they start going downhill. I no longer watch Flash. I can't stand it. It's a CW show, which means teen angst, lovey-dovey type. Oh no, whose boyfriend?
That's all of them, man.
That's all of them. But it's not as bad at first. Then it gets bad.
Yep.
Or they suck the entire time, like Batwoman. But anyway, so what do you think of him in the Legends show? I
stopped watching after that bullshit ass season finale where the fucking bear, the whole teddy bear that they saw early in the season came and defeated a major villain. I couldn't take that shit seriously. Even if it was like, all their powers combined, I was like, damn. That shit took me out of the whole series.
I don't know why or how, but my mama she still watches Supergirl, which has gone off the deep end for me. I can't stand it. I haven't watched it since the third season was the season that did it in for me. I haven't watched it since. Legends, I watched the first season and then that's it. But my mama loves the Legends show. And I got to say, I love Matt Ryan when Matt Ryan's on screen. But he's not on screen all the time. Therefore, I do not like the show.
Yes.
and then, Arrow to me, after, it lasted the longest. It lasted about the same time Smallville did, about the fourth, fifth seasons where it I didn't care about it. And then let's see, there's Batwoman, which they got so much stuff wrong with the story when it started, premiere episode. I wrote that thing off. I already mentioned Supergirl. The Flash lasted decently. About the third, fourth season is where it started, and now I don't watch it.
I felt like all the CW shows had at least started out good, and then somewhere around that third season is where they start, doing stuff that
They run out of cool comic book stuff, so what they do is go CW, full CW, where it's all the teen angst crap. And it's like, I'm an adult. I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
Even though my mama will call and say, I love you, honey. I'm still a grown man, dang it. I don't want to watch that crap.
Exactly. Sometimes they push it too much.
Which we can't be mad at them because, again, it's on the CW channel. So that is what they do with those shows. So I don't think we should be mad when it gets to that point. We should just know it's coming and watch until then and stop watching and let it be. But my problem is that is the best DC stuff on air right now. Overall, I hope HBO Max stuff is good. I really do.
Yeah, because like we talked about this numerous times that the movie side of DC has just been disappointing
Yeah,
as a whole. Like there's some
yeah.
decent movies, but as a whole, it's been very disappointing.
I've already, like we said backstage, I'm done. I'm done with the WB DC movies. If they have one that looks good, that's on its own, sort of, I'm probably going to watch it. But anytime they're going to try and interconnect something, or I'm not even going to watch it. You'll have to tell me how it is, and maybe I'll go watch it afterwards. But I'm not going to the theater.
And another thing I will give the CW shows credit for is that I did enjoy some of their crossover events. Like I felt like they did a great job with crossing over the universe and making it feel special with the events.
Yeah, I mean, they're television, and it's not like ABC, NBC, CBS.
Yeah,
it's CW. So knowing that, yeah, they do real good on the crossovers so far with everything. But yeah, I'm kind of meh. But you know the Titans show, the DC Universe is when it started. The Titans show, the live action.
Yep.
I find it hilarious. I love Marv Wolfman, but he needs to be quiet when he talks about how he loves how they treat his characters, because they don't do a good job. I don't like the Titans show, and I mean I just don't, and I don't know why he thinks it's so awesome. I mean,
maybe they're paying him a lot to say that stuff.
Well, yeah, probably, yeah. But I mean, I haven't seen but the first few episodes of the Titan show, and I think I skipped ahead to the last episode, and then I haven't even touched the second season. What do you think? Have you even seen it?
I've watched the first season. I haven't watched the second. I thought it was okay, but then I'm not the biggest Titan fan.
Well,
no,
that one didn't make anyone new Titans fan.
I like the Swamp Thing show more.
Yeah, I was kind of mad on Swamp Thing, but I did not like it. I didn't not like it. But the Teen Titans, I think they're way too gritty, way too adult. It's the Starfire wasn't Starfire. You know, Dick Grayson wasn't really Dick Grayson to me. I didn't like it.
They tried to make it way too edgy for what the Titans were.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
And sometimes DC tend to do that, try and give their characters more edge and be like, did the Snyder Cut really need to be R-rated? Did they even have to use the F word? No. But that's DC. They like to be dark, gritty, and edgy.
I don't know why they think they have to do everything opposite of Marvel. They don't have to. They just do their own thing. They don't have to. I don't get it, man. But Stargirl is another one of those shows that started on the DC Universe app, and then it moved to CW, I think. So I watched the first couple episodes on the DC Universe. It wasn't bad, but then again, it's going to be like a CW show, so I didn't even bother watching the other stuff because I know what's going to happen, and I don't want to watch it. But it is nice that the CW is using freaking Our Man. Out of all they've gone through so many characters, and they now have Our Man as a character in a show. But yet,
he was part of the JSA.
Movies can't get past the Trinity: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I don't get it.
I know Our Man's part of the JSA, and I remember that crossover they had with Legends, when they introduced the JSA. I was actually excited because I love the JSA run by Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just don't know why the movie is so disconnected from the TV, man. They had Stargirl's live action, and because there's so many characters, and they've done well with a lot of these characters on TV. That means they could do well with them on the big screen. They just need to do it.
They need structure. They need somebody who can structure everything and not worry about outside interference from corporate.
They need somebody or a group of somebodies that have final say.
Yeah.
That the studio, they can't say, well, make them handicapped, make them white, make them black, make them this, make them that, make them think this way, make them Republican, make them Democrat. If they could just shut those people out and have one person with final say that's a creative and business person at the same time, I think they'd do well. Or have a group of people, like 4 or 5 people, to do that. They need their version of a Feige.
Yeah, because the one thing about Feige is that he was successful before Disney purchased Marvel, and Disney said, well, he was successful before us, so we're just going to let him keep doing his thing. We're not going to interfere in it. And they gave him more power over the years, and look what the MCU is.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, maybe, but he has done stuff that they didn't agree with, but they let him do his thing because they're like, okay, well, we've seen what you've done before. There's no person who has done it before in Warner Brothers, so they need to give someone a chance to. And hopefully they'll pick the right person or persons, and it'll work. Yeah, I didn't mention the Doom Patrol show, but yeah, the first season I actually thought it was all right. A little weird, but then again, that is Doom Patrol.
That's Doom Patrol.
Yeah, sure. I haven't touched the second season yet.
Yeah, like we said backstage with them trying to do the Black Superman, which I feel is unnecessary. And yeah, I'm still disappointed that Henry Cavill is pretty much done. And considering the fact that they never really gave us, outside of Man of Steel was the only solo Superman movie. Everything else was crossover, and we didn't get no follow up on anything on his character. Yeah. So that to me was the biggest ball drop when it came to DC, is that you're gonna give us Superman and not follow up on it.
I agree with you. It's unnecessary because they have other better, completely original characters that they can use if they just have to use one that isn't white. But not only are they using the Superman, which we already have different versions of Superman, but they're using the Clark Kent version and they're wanting to make him black, which makes no sense. If you're going to do it, Val Zod, Calvin Ellis.
And Chris on the comment call brought up an interesting point, that because I forgot about Val Zod, because I didn't read the Earth 2, so I was kind of confused on that Superman. Chris brought up the fact that he had more of a run in the comic books than Calvin Ellis, because Calvin Ellis only had a couple of appearances here or there, but there's not enough established story for him. So if they would have did Calvin Ellis, they can make something completely fresh out of him. Because he don't have a lot of story in the comics, that they can take him, use what they got in the comics, and then expand on it, give them something new. That's what, if they would have did Black Superman, do Calvin Ellis. The man's a freaking president. I mean, that right there writes itself on how you want to tell a Superman story, and how he went from being an alien, growing up, and then actually become president of the United States.
But the other problem is, no matter what version they use of Black Superman, they're wanting to do it, the thing said, as a 20th century period piece, which means they want to do civil rights.
This is where this character comes into play, if you're going to go with that route.
Yeah. There's perfectly original, completely original character, icon, if you want to go that route, like civil rights and stuff. But what I just don't. They've lost their freaking minds. It's official.
Man. Even my brother tagged me on the post, and DC just don't know what they're doing, and it's ridiculous. When they announced that, I was like, I'm done with you, DC. I'm done.
Yeah. Movies, at least, I'm done with it. Now, I will give anything new a chance if it's not some DCEU crossover or anything like that, or they're not trying to build something. If, like, their Green Lantern show, it's supposedly all Green Lanterns that they haven't used before. Great. Okay, let's do a good show. I'll try it out. Let's see what happens. I hope they have a crescendo event where it's Jon Stewart coming in. But, even if they don't, they're not using characters they've already used. So I'm fine with it. Let's go. Let's see what happens. If they come out with a sequel to Aquaman, as long as it's just Aquaman and a sequel, I'll probably watch it because I really enjoyed Aquaman. If they manage to do the Black Adam thing and they tie that in with Shazam was actually a pretty decent movie. I really enjoyed it. I watch Black Adam. But if they try another thing with Batman or Superman, or if they try something with, weaving in some characters, I'm not going to watch it unless by some miracle everyone in the comics community says you got to watch it because it's freaking awesome. I'm not even going to give it a chance and watch it. Yes, he does. So they should have plenty of material to do a good show, even without Jon Stewart as of now, and without Hal Jordan as of now.
Because the Green Lantern has a rich history, and they have multiple characters. I mean, Kilowog, Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner's the one they're apparently going to use, but I would be okay if they didn't use any of the Earth Green Lanterns, and we had a thing set up where it's Kilowog training Sinestro, and then they move into, hey, this guy, I forget his name, is going on a mission, and it's the Green Lantern that dies on Earth, and then we get our, the next season or whatever is the choosing of the new one.
Hey, Barbarian, that can't happen because Deadpool shot Ryan Reynolds when he did that.
Yeah, Deadpool killed him.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, the potential is there. It's just that DC has to get good writers, good directors, and people that know the history of Green Lantern and apply it to this movie to make it great. Otherwise, we're just going to have a disappointing effort like the original one with Ryan Reynolds.
As my grandpa would say, they got to put their butt behind them. As in, they're trying to fix it, and they are in the way themselves. They need to change position and then operate the machinery, and it'll work a lot better and smoother.
Yeah, that's how I feel, and if they do it right, because I'm more of a Jeff Johns fan of the Green Lantern run, and you get Green Lantern right, then there's a whole lot of stories that you can tell. Like the Sinestro Corpse War, Blackest Night.
Yeah,
I mean,
we could have like a 4 or 5 episode arc of Larfleeze.
Oh my god!
I mean, we could.
I will say, Larfleeze will be a interesting character. I just don't want to I don't want to see too much of him because he can get annoying real fucking quick. That's true.
Just 4 or 5 episode arc. That's all you get. I think that would work. And another 4 or 5 episode arc. We could bring in the Star Sapphires, man, just their origin and stuff, and go through the whole spectrum.
Oh yeah,
like every season's 2 or 3 different arcs of the different spectrums of the lantern. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, like I said, there's so many avenues to explore all the spectrums of the Green Lantern universe that I want to see that.
in the 60s. I don't get what he means that. Or the Grant Morrison run adapted by Mario Bava.
Obviously, Morrison must have used some elements from that in his recent Green Lantern story. What's up, Flashpoint?
Oh, I see what he's saying now. Okay. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, that's one movie that I'm probably not going to watch now. Their Flash movie that's apparently going to be like Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to watch it.
But the way they treat in their universe, they might as well have just did Flashpoint, just erase all the previous movies, because it's like what universe we got?
But they're not. That's the problem.
Yeah, they want to do standalone movies, but it's like eventually people are gonna be like, all right, well, is this gonna cross over or whatnot? Because that's what Marvel has done successfully since the beginning of the MCU.
That's what Kong and Godzilla have done too. I mean, come on.
And DC just completely botched it, man. Flashpoint said Flashpoint is going to be garbage.
Like we said backstage, the best option for DC is to literally take their animated universe and do it the same but live action. Everyone would love that. Kids would love it. Adults would love it. We get our Vixen. We get our Mr. Terrific. We get our Jon Stewart. But you also got your Superman. You also got Batman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, The Flash, man. Wally West Flash, too. I mean, it would be great.
Like I said, nothing beats the original DC animated universe that started with Batman, Superman, then just had Justice League top it off, and you had all those characters.
Yeah, man. And scripts are written, everything.
And it was all perfect. You know, they borrowed elements from the comics, added some original things in it, and it just meshed so well. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that would actually be a good one-off.
Yeah.
How about we go Bart Allen and make us both unhappy?
Not Bart, man. The only Flashes I know is Barry Allen and Wally West. Bart I didn't really get into as much. Wally West was more my era, you know, because when I got into the Flash, Wally West was the Flash. So I wasn't happy when they brought him back in the New 52 and it was a completely different Wally West.
But yeah, man, regardless of who's the Flash, DC Animated Universe, they literally have the concept on visuals. They have the scripts already because it was the voice cast. It'd be really easy, just live action. That's all they got to do. But they won't do it because they're idiots.
Well, speaking of which, let's switch over to the MCU and let's talk a little Shang-Chi and the Eternals, since we gotten that video a couple of weeks ago. So what was your thoughts on the Shang-Chi first?
Well, the Shang-Chi, yeah. But they I'm a little weirded out by how the rings are apparently working and how they're not mechanical, they're actual like foo-foo magic stuff. But other than that, and that's minor, it's a minor gripe, it looks like it might be pretty good, although I don't like Awkwafina.
Yeah.
I do not like her.
I wasn't a fan of her in the trailer. I thought it was pretty good. Obviously,
whoa. Romero died? I didn't know Romero died.
I mean, talking about George Romero, he died.
Where did he die?
What?
Oh. Holy crap, he died in 2017. I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah, I remember when that was announced.
Did not remember that. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You were on Shang-Chi.
It's all right. But obviously, Shang-Chi ain't going to be like the classic Kung Fu style that, we kind of want. Because when I think of Shang-Chi in the comics, I think of Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. And him just going out, kicking ass and, dealing with his father, which was like the Fu Manchu, which, they don't want to
I
use
wonder
that
what they're
name.
going to use as his name because they're not going to use that.
No, it's the Mandarin. They're going to use the Mandarin.
Oh, they're going to make the Mandarin his dad?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
And with the Mandarin, you got the 10 rings, and I kind of agree with you, like making the rings around the wrist instead of them being like the 10 rings on the fingers. It looked weird for me, like because I'm used to the Mandarin having the 10 rings, on the fingers.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that works in the movie. But I think it's going to be a decent kung fu / mystical flick.
Yeah. My problem is I'm worried about the action. Because with regular Marvel movies, you can suspend disbelief. They can do fancy stuff. And it's not going to be a whole lot of Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee-esque actual martial arts where you can see no jump cuts, no shaky cam. And it's actually, you just watch them go. I'm worried that this, which is steeped in Asian martial arts, is going to get like a bunch of shaky cam or like 57 cuts for each punch. That's what I'm worried about. We haven't seen it yet. Hopefully it does more traditional, like actual, let the stunt people work. But I'm really worried about that, man. That will make it so horrible if they go that route.
I don't want shaky cam at all. That to me is like the bane of action movies in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. So I'm worried, man. I don't know how they're going to do them. I hope they do the action justice. If they were worried about it, they should have just called up Jackie Chan, be like, "Hey, we need your stunt team, or whatever, or like get him and Tony Jaa or whatever to like be the coordinator,
choreograph all the fights."
Yeah.
Well, other than that, I'm looking forward to that. The Eternals.
Ever since Tomb Raider, Angelina Jolie looks like a crackhead. She's so skinny.
I did not expect
that. I'm not wrong.
I just didn't expect it.
I mean, I'm not saying she should be fat, like me, but good Lord, she needs to weigh more than 50 pounds soaking wet. That's what I'm saying. She looks way too thin. I mean, and she had that surgery, she got both the boobs chopped off, so that's even more skinny looking. I mean, it's other than that, Salma Hayek has been a beauty and still is a beauty for like the past 30-something years. She's always amazing. I can't wait to see Salma Hayek. She is awesome. Angelina Jolie is a good actress, but she's way too dang skinny, man. But it's an ensemble cast, so I'm hoping it'll look good. I'm hoping it's okay. And Salma's thing is a great example of when you can race or gender bend someone and no one's going to care. Ajax isn't, Superman, one of the most famous superheroes there is. He's one guy in the comic that a subsection of the comic people have read. So, yeah, we can make a he or she on that one, and we can go with it.
I'm with Barbarian in terms of the Eternals. Like, I get my source of information from, like, Emergency Awesome. So when I hear about the Eternals and I know they did a trailer of it, I watch his stuff because he does the backstory on the Eternals from the comics and stuff like that. But this is a movie that I'm going in with low expectations because again, I'm not deep with the Eternals, but we've seen in Marvel that they can take a group like Guardians of the Galaxy that I ain't care about at all, and now they're popular because of that. So I want to see how they do this movie. The things that we saw in the trailer was pretty interesting, but I felt like it wasn't a full enough trailer for me to really get excited about.
It was a teaser, so
it was a teaser.
Yeah.
But
my only thing is I don't really care about Eternals. What I care about is what the Eternals do for the Marvel cosmology and the Marvel history. So I'm going to be looking for some celestial action, or at least a hint that they're coming or that they exist. And I'm also looking to see how is Marvel going to do the human eternal deviant, how are they going to do that? Is that going to be, I mean, that was in the very first issue of Eternals where they explained the deviants, the humans, and the Eternals as the different things. So I want to be looking to see how they explain that.
We're going to talk Howard the Duck soon, Vigilante. Yeah, but like I said, and the one thing about this movie is it's going more towards the cosmic side, and we've seen Marvel go towards that route these last couple of movies, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes out after Eternals in terms of going more cosmic and going that route and introducing new characters. And we all saw the little glimpse of the Fantastic Four logo in that little teaser. So,
which tells you it'll be 2023, late 2023, or the next year before we get the FF. So you got time, people. You got time.
Yep. Howard is the GOAT. Yeah. Oh, wasn't nowhere the Celestial head?
Yeah. So, and they also showed them in the little view thing where he was explaining the Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a little more on them, and I'm looking for how Marvel's doing the explanation of the races for the Earth. So because that sets up everything. How do you get mutants? Is it Chthon? Is magic real? All that stuff should be in the Eternals movie. It's going to wind up being a linchpin movie, I think.
Yeah. That's why I'm have low expectations, but I want to see what the story is. How is it going to explain more of the MCU in terms of the cosmic, the Celestials, and all the different races that exist outside of Earth. We've seen elements of that, but I want to see what the Eternals bring forth to the table going forward. And like you said, with the setup of the mutants and all that stuff, it's a lot. I mean, we could even get a little glimpses, or at least a setup of the World Devourer, Galactus. Just a little tidbit on it, and that would get me excited because we all know Galactus devours worlds. So that will be a little tidbit will be nice to hear.
I wonder if that's going to be like the bad that the whole movie is going to be them learning and explaining and coming to a crescendo moment where they're like, Galactus is coming, and then it ends. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, man. That will get me hyped for when Fantastic Four debuts. And we ain't gonna get no fucking cloud. I'll say that.
Yeah, we better not get no damn cloud. How stupid was it that they did? I mean, they messed up Doctor Doom in the second one, especially. The first one, they didn't get him right, but they got him more right than any other version I've seen live action. But man, they really dropped the ball with the Surfer and Galactus.
The good thing about Surfer was he was voiced by Lawrence Fishburne.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But if you notice, there's a movie that we know is coming that they didn't say or mention in that teaser.
What was that?
Blade. We know he's coming. They announced it on the thing. Hey, we have Blade coming. But apparently, it's either going to be a surprise movie at the end of Phase 4, or it's not going to be in Phase 4 at all, and it's going to be a Phase 5 movie. They just gave us the tease, hey, it's coming. So that's another thing. If you want to buy keys for this stuff, buy Blade. No one's talking about it. It wasn't in the scissor reel there that we had.
I'm hit or miss on Blade, probably because of my love for the Wesley Snipes movie, and the fact that Ali is pretty much almost the same age as Wesley. Like, you might as well just bring Wesley Snipes back, But it's like VV said, PG-13 Blade.
Maybe we don't know yet.
And we got to see how Deadpool is, under the umbrella that they're gonna do. But yeah, when it comes to Blade, I would personally prefer to see Blade as a Disney Plus series. That way you can do a lot more with the character in that standpoint. I mean, if it's going to be PG-13, put it on Disney Plus and let's flesh out the character even more. And that way you can throw little characters, from the Midnight Suns in there, or all the dark characters.
Yeah, but they did that before, and it wasn't very good.
That was Sticky Fingers as Blade, man. Nobody remember. I don't even want to remember that. No.
Oh, man. But yeah, man, Wesley Snipes was a great Blade. I'm hoping Mahershala is at least as good. I don't care if he's better, but as long as he's as good and the movie's a Marvel movie, I'm not worried.
Yeah, because he's a phenomenal actor. So I don't have a problem with him there. But it's just that when you're following up Wesley Snipes, and Wesley Snipes brought the martial arts action to Blade,
yeah,
that's where I'm going to be looking at the action scenes and say, all right, what can you do compared to Wesley Snipes? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's got to learn karate and something like that.
I would say that. He should try.
Yeah, but that again, even before Wesley Snipes, Blade wasn't a martial artist. I mean, I remember him getting his ass whooped in the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s. I'm like, man, Blade can't fight for shit. And then Wesley Snipes added that element to him. And now, ever since then, we see Blade as not only a badass vampire hunter, but he kicks ass with his martial arts skills.
I would argue that he's always had good skills, whether they be martial art in the form of like karate or something or not, because he's been fighting vampires. They're faster than the average human and all, so he's got to use his skills as well as the powers he has in order to go after him. So I would argue he has some sort of fighting skill.
But not on the level of a Wesley Snipes. Because I read some of the Night Stalker books that he was a part of in the 90s, and he fought, but most of the time it was using weapons.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I'm like I said, I may be hit or miss, but I'm still interested in seeing Ali as Blade and what they do.
I'm definitely interested in that. But Byron, don't try and help that movie.
Yeah, Midnight Suns would be awesome.
We also got no X-Men. So even though Eternals, I think, will give us the groundwork that you can extrapolate X-Men mutants from, it's still going to be late 2023 or 2024 at the earliest, most likely before we get mutants in the MCU. So that, again, once all this dies down, all this hype and, the movies start coming out regular at the end of this year, I think we're going to have a cool down on a lot of the minor and lesser X keys. So if anyone's looking to spec, that would be a time to check out the X keys. Now, obviously, 181, Giants, obviously those are probably going to be still expensive. Even if they cool down, they're not going to go ice cold.
Yeah, and they already they ain't teased mutants, but they already name dropped some of the Madripoor and the Falcon Winter Soldier, and we all know Madripoor was
that's a great setup. They're playing the long game, man.
Yep.
And Marvel has a history of doing that.
Yeah. And when I saw Madripoor announced on that show, I was like, oh shit, that's Wolverine stomping ground. So you already know the setup of what they're going to go in the future, man.
Yep.
That's what the MCU does so well. You know, they add these little elements here or there to set up future movies. And you remember, when they name dropped Doctor Strange and Winter Soldier, and then a couple years later we get the Doctor Strange movie. So it's like,
and do you remember that famous map? And I think it was Iron Man 1 or Iron Man 2. Boom, Wakanda was on the map in a dot, and we're like, how many years later did we have Wakanda?
Yeah, and then when they name dropped in the Age of Ultron, it's like, oh, now we getting onto the Vibranium and Black Panther, and we already got Claw in that movie. So, Marvel just does a great job in throwing little bits of pieces in each movie, and then later on, it comes to fruition.
Notice, they're also getting a lot better at not just killing off the villain. Because we got Baron Zemo. Ultron doesn't. You can always bring him back, even though you killed him, because he's Ultron and he's like a computer. You just say some kid got it downloaded on his iPad or whatever, and boom, you got Ultron again. So he can. People don't sleep on Ultron, that key book, because it's going to be a long wait, but they can bring Ultron back easy. He's a computer, but I mean, you also have the bad Captain America. What's USA?
Walker? Yeah, USA.
Yeah, we got him. He didn't die. We got there's some other people.
All the talk with Thunderbolts now. You know, with that whole Falcon Winter Soldier is pretty much leading up to Thunderbolts. So Marvel is just doing a great job of building things for the future and setting up other stuff. There's two villains that I wish Marvel would redo. Well, not one villain they should redo, and one villain I think is still around, but it's been hidden. I wish they would redo Ronan the Accuser. They really botched that character so badly. You know,
I don't know if they botched him so much as didn't use him enough.
They botched him with that stupid dance-off that he lost to, man. Come on, man. He's goddamn Ronan, an important figure in the Skrull-Kree war. If you're going to go Skrulls with the Secret Invasion, if you're going to bring the Kree in more, you need Ronan because he's such an important character to that species. And then they just completely dropped the ball on that character so badly. It's like I can't even watch the end of the Guardians because of how stupid it was that he went.
But yeah, that is true. But they did use him again in the Captain Marvel movie because it was set in the past.
Yeah, that dude sat there, he watched the fight, and then he dipped. He looked worse in that movie.
I didn't say they used him well. I just said they used him. So if we have anything else set in the past, I don't know, like Eternals or stuff like that, we could still have our Ronin. But we also now have the multiverse and different things, so we can always bring in any character that's dead if we want in the Marvel Universe. So if we need Ronan back for that, they could say someone did something and it caused a new timeline or whatever, and Ronan's back. So the way they've set it up now, they can bring anyone back, and it makes sense.
Yeah, because I need a retcon of that ending in the Guardians, man.
But yeah, so
another villain when you mention Ultron, another villain that I still think is around that nobody's really talking about, because even though he got bombed in Winter Soldier, I think Armin Zola is still around.
He is like Ultron. You can always bring him back and not even worry about a timeline because he turned himself into a computer. You can always bring him back if you want. I think it would be cool to have him come back and be the head of AIM.
Yes. That I was thinking the same thing, reintroduce AIM and Zola is behind it,
Yeah.
Because he's a computer. He downloaded himself in somewhere else. He's got a backup base, where he's at. So it'd be awesome if they reintroduce him as a new villain for Sam Wilson, Captain America.
And you could say Ultron downloaded to Zola's computer system because Zola's system would be off the grid of what can be accessed by Vision. Because Vision said he's gone, remember?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you got ways of you can bring either one of them back. And I just wanted to mention FF65 is the key for Ronin. But don't sleep on that book because it is also a key for something else. The first appearance of the Supreme Intelligence, which they're still going to be using later on. They are. So even if we never get Ronin, that book is still a key for that reason. So just heads up for my speckers there.
Yeah. Like I said, man, Marvel is just doing a phenomenal job, man.
So who do you think that would be more likely to bring back first? Zola or Ultron?
I want to say Ultron because he's the bigger name, and I think people do want to see a true version of that character compared to what we got in the movie. But logically, I would love to see Armin Zola, especially in the Cat movies, and rebuild AIM, to make that more like a threat as an organization threat.
Do you think we will have AIM in the MODOK cartoon?
Why?
And do you think that will have any bearing on live action? Will we have MODOK in live action, or is he just a cartoon and that's going to be its own thing, you think?
I think the MODOK cartoon is going to be its own thing. I hope so, because it don't really fit in with the MCU.
Yeah.
But
I like it. It looks good, but not an MCU thing. It just looks good as MODOK.
Yeah, it looks good on its own thing, but if MODOK is going to be something interesting when they do him in the actual MCU. I mean, obviously he's going to be a CGI character, but like him and Zola as part of AIM will be interesting, considering that they're both big-headed, intelligent guys that, I don't even think they could coexist together.
Yeah, so I would definitely say have MODOK be in the cartoon and then have AIM be led by Zola in the actual movies, and that's the new Hydra is AIM.
See, man. Just want to say what's up to Daryl, Simply Incredible. What's going on? The Bride of Ultron must live. But yeah, there's so many possibilities, man. Either Ultron or Zola. I mean, you're bringing back villains that can still be of good use in the MCU, and they can have even longer arcs. Like if Zola comes back in his form AIM, he could be the one that create MODOK. And you can make it that like he wants a sidekick and he creates MODOK. And like I said, AIM could be like an organizational threat that don't have to be dealt with in just one movie. They could be like the Cobra of the MCU and just have reoccurring appearances and mess with everybody.
Mm-hmm. And you could also say that the dark side of the super soldier serum of Dr. Banner's research, you could say that your leader, Abomination, all those type characters, you could say are AIM experiments.
Yeah, and that can also tie into General Ross. Creation of Red Hulk.
And it could also lead into the Thunderbolts. Be like Ross was needing a contingency plan, and then he unknowingly it was swiped by AIM, and that Contessa lady, who is Madam Hydra in the books, could be not Madam Hydra, but just the female head of AIM. And whoops, turns out it was Zola the whole time.
Oh man, creativity coming from our minds right here, man. Because that's the thing about it. Like, Marvel got us guessing and coming up with stories in our own mind of what could happen. Now we all know they're gonna do the complete opposite. But just the things that we come up with, they're like, damn, this could last a couple more years, if you do it right.
Yeah, but they also, if you notice, Marvel actually they do simple stuff. Really, it's all of us doing these, fan speculation. Just what we're doing right now, talking that gets everything all riled up and everything. But like WandaVision, the perfect example. No Chthon, no Mephisto, no Nightmare, no Doctor Strange. It was just rather simple story. Wanda's went crazy. You had a witch try and take her powers, and now she's on the run after accepting that she's a little crazy.
And that also supposed to lead into Multiverse of Madness. So,
ooh, yeah, that and Thor: Love and Thunder are my favorite films coming up that I want to see.
Yeah, and I kind of wish Multiverse of Madness came out at the end of this year, because it comes out at the beginning of next year. But I'm like, after WandaVision, I really wanted to watch that movie now.
Yeah, well, at least you get Loki, and we get Black Widow, and I think we get something else too this year from Marvel.
Is it She-Hulk or Miss Marvel? I know Miss Marvel's going to be part of the Marvels, which they like. And that's the only reason I'll go see that movie, is because of Monica and Miss Marvel.
I was going to say we didn't go through all the movies yet, and that real teaser that you were mentioning when you were listing movies, we haven't got to some yet. One of them being the Marvels, which is formerly known as Captain Marvel 2, which everyone apparently hates Brie Larson. So I think that's good on them for changing the name and adding in not only Captain Marvel, but the other Captain Marvel, who will either be Photon or Spectrum probably, and also Miss Marvel.
Yeah. And that's the only reason you go see the movie, because of those two. Because I loved Monica and WandaVision. I thought she was one of the best characters on the show, and I'm looking forward to Miss Marvel as well, because I enjoyed the comics. Mm-hmm. So by adding those two to the movie, it was a smart decision, because if it was just Brie Larson, I wouldn't go to the theaters to see it.
Yeah. So here's the question. Is Brie Larson going to wind up like dying or something in this? Or is she still going to be Captain Marvel? Then we'll have Monica be one of her other two names, and then Miss Marvel, and they'll be on Earth, and she'll be out in space, and we don't have to see her again until later.
I would go with that option. I mean, a lot of people are just holding out the hope that Rogue comes in and suck all her powers, and then she's gone for good. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Not in this movie, but
not in this one. After the announcement, that's thrown out the window. But I think this movie is all about setting up Monica and Miss Marvel, and establishing them even more so, especially Miss Marvel, because that's who Marvel's really going to push. And I know the photos was out there with her in costume, and it looked great. So
yeah, although I heard, I don't know how reliable it is, but I heard they're changing her powers to be some sort of mystical or mechanical thing with her bracelet, rather than she's an Inhuman.
They already denouncing the Inhumans after the failure of that?
I guess. I don't know, man. That would work.
That would work.
A lot of people would like that.
And we won't be shedding tears.
Yeah. I think that's a good option, man.
Yeah.
But I can also see Byron's, maybe she becomes binary and they keep using her, but I think that's the least of the three options in the chat. And then there's the option of Rogue. But like we said, with the scissor reel thing, that's going to be in like 4 or 5 years from now.
It'd just be a thank God she's gone. Yeah, man. But that's actually a pretty cool idea. Definitely Captain Marvel, and it'd be about her.
Yeah.
Well, Marvel, if they want us to care about her, they got a lot of work to do.
I don't think they can do it. I mean, with the fan interactions I've heard online all these past few years, I don't think there's any way possible, unless she changes her outlook on life, Brie Larson, that is, completely, which I doubt that's going to happen. So
it's more the actress and not the character.
Well, yeah, we know that because Captain Marvel's a great character. I just find it funny that the female Captain Marvel is better liked in the books even than this Captain Marvel, which is weird.
And Marvel was pushing her so much. I always said that Black Widow should have gotten the movie first. She should have been the first female MCU character to have her own movie and not Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And then look what's happened. You know, Black Widow got delayed so long to the point where that movie is like, when it comes out, it comes out. But it lost all interest.
Well, I think it'll do good when it comes out. But as far as people speculating and talking about it, that's been dead.
Yeah. Like the hype just went down when it kept getting pushed back.
It's because they kept pushing it and kept pushing it. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, but I agree, man. When Black Widow comes out, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, well, I am too, but I mean, I already know, all the cool stuff. Taskmaster, Red Guardian, new Black Widow, and Yelena Belova.
Yeah,
we already know. Strahati. Oh, I see what he did there. Okay. Oh yeah, that chick from Chuck. Yeah, she's all right. Well, that would still be Taskmaster, John, just as a woman. We're getting Taskmaster. The question is it male or female? I personally don't care. Taskmaster is cool, but I think a female version would be just as good. Although it is kind of weird that this unbelievable fighter is like 2 feet shorter than most of the people she's up against. I don't this reality that wouldn't work, but I guess for Marvel it would be fine. I mean, I have no big issue with it.
Yeah. What else, man? We had probably the one that actually dropped a tear when they showed that whole video, and that was Black Panther: World of Wakanda.
I thought you were going to say the voiceover from Stan.
That was pretty cool, but seeing Chadwick Boseman come through the portal, that scene will always stick in my head.
I don't have the I'm going to use the word baggage, but that may not be the best word to use with Black Panther that you do. So I enjoyed that. I think that's a good way to do Wakanda Forever. I like that because that's kind of saying, hey, Boseman was great, and that's the great subtitle. But I'm not looking forward to it the most out of the others. Like I told you, the two I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah. I just want to see how they go forward with this movie.
I want to know, is it going to be the entire movie trying to get Shuri to be the new Black Panther? Or I'm curious as to how they're going to do it. Or are they going to try and bring someone back? They were talking about Michael B. Jordan, but I don't know about that. Are they going to try and get someone else to be Black Panther? We know they're not going to have T'Challa because they already said they're not recasting him. but they will have another Black Panther at some point. It may not be in this movie, but at some point we will get one. And I would hope it should go to Shuri.
It's either Shuri or Killmonger, since they were Black Panthers in the comics.
Killmonger, I forgot about him. That would be another good suggestion. They might do better off having it go to him, and then later on, it go to Shuri.
I mean, that would be a way to continue to build her up within this movie, because she didn't have enough screen time in the first movie. Whereas in the second movie, they can elevate her more. Yeah. And, if Killmonger gets revived and become Black Panther, then they could actually set up a showdown between those two for the right of the Black Panther title.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a real good way of bringing Killmonger back. So I think your way of M'Baku getting it and then Shuri winding up getting it later on, I think that would be good too.
Like I said, M'Baku would be a great option as well.
Yeah,
I've always said when it comes to Killmonger, because he's died and been revived multiple times in the comics.
Well, everybody has in the comics.
And when the person that brought him back the first time, I felt should have been the character that had been introduced in the second movie, and that's Madam Slay. And I felt like they could at least bring her in, to be the voodoo queen of Wakanda, and actually introduce, her reviving Killmonger as a way to pay back maybe Wakanda for doing her wrong, doing her dirt. Similar to how what's his name felt about them having vibranium and not liking it.
Yeah,
in Baku.
You do know another thing people haven't mentioned is that I don't know how they do this with Boseman gone, but the Black Panther is the king of the dead in the comics. So I mean, you could work your way with that and bring you back Killmonger somehow, like trying to bring back T'Challa, and then something happened and it wound up being Killmonger. That could work.
Yep. We have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. So I don't.
So you said you're highly interested in the next Thor movie as well.
Oh yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder. That just sounds like a movie from the '80s and like a good rock song. I mean, I just like the sound of it, like the looks of it. That is the only reason why I want to see it, and because I know it's going to be the new version of Thor, not like Thor 1 or Thor 2, but Ragnarok Thor. That I want to see that. I don't really care about Natalie Portman at all. I could care less if she gets the hammer or not. I just want to see it for the other reasons.
I'm hoping that's good because, like I said, I really enjoyed Ragnarok, but I could see why some people didn't like it because too much comedy. Thor was cracking jokes when he was tied up with the person I can't remember, the demon.
You mean Surtur?
Surtur, yeah. It was a little jokey. I know. I liked it too, but a lot of people didn't like the movie because it was just too much comedy. And the whole buddy cop relationship with him and Hulk.
It wasn't too much to me.
And I knew he was gonna pop up, man. I knew he was gonna pop up because I know he don't like the movie at all.
Well, anyway, no matter how you feel about it, the next one, Love and Thunder, I am looking forward to. I want to see that. But the one I'm looking forward to above all else, and now that WandaVision's happened, I think more people will be with me on this. Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2.
Yep. That's, like I said, I wish it came out this year, but either way, when it comes out,
it's early next year, though.
Yeah, at least it's early next year.
That one, I don't know about Black Widow, but I think the very next movie is the Doctor Strange, right? After Black Widow, it releases next.
It's either that or Spider-Man. which is the other movie that's supposed to come out this year too.
Oh yeah. Well, Black Widow, I'm not, but whichever one comes out next, I'll be in a theater.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yep.
And I'm more interested in Doctor Strange more so than the third Spider-Man. Like, I like Far From Home, but not much. And I thought the first Spider-Man, Homecoming, the best part of that movie was Michael Keaton as the Vulture. For me, like Tom Holland was great as Spider-Man, but some of the high school stuff, I was like, man, I'm kind of over Spider-Man in high school.
I cannot explain how awesome a scene it was when it was just Michael Keaton and Tom Holland in the car.
Yes.
And Michael Keaton just turns around and was like, hey, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'll kill your whole family. And I'm like, what? And that's Michael Keaton, man. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
So good.
And, like, he really made that movie. Like, Tom Holland was good, but I felt like Michael Keaton was the star of that movie.
It could have been called Vulture's Home instead of Far From Home or Homecoming or whatever it was, and I would have still seen it. It could have been, starring Michael Keaton and some British kid. I would have went and saw it still. I mean, that Michael Keaton was the best part of that movie. I enjoyed Tom Holland, though. He's a great Spider-Man. Yeah. But Michael Keaton, man.
He was phenomenal, man. And when he had that little part at the end of the Morbius trailer, I was like, oh, shit, Michael Keaton in the Morbius movie? I'll go see it just for that. And I want to see more of him in the MCU. Like, after that performance in Homecoming, I'm like, I need more Michael Keaton as Vulture because he really nailed that character.
Man, I can tell you right now, I would be willing to sit down and watch pretty much any movie if you tell me Michael Keaton stars in it. Yeah. He's just one of those actors. He's like Steve Martin or Tom Hanks. Pretty much whatever they're in, you're going to love.
Man, I grew up a Michael Keaton fan. I watched all his movies.
I watched The Founder.
Yeah, I love The Founder.
That was a great movie.
Great movie. Like, I felt like he really took that movie and just... I felt he deserved an Oscar for that performance that he did.
Yeah, man. So that movie was great. I haven't seen Birdman, but I want to see Birdman.
I enjoyed Birdman. Because I thought that was really good.
I love the fact that Birdman's about this guy who used to play a winged or a caped superhero, and it's like Michael Keaton. So he was Batman, That's cool.
Yeah, man.
I also would love him to come back in the MCU. I hope he comes back. I want him to come back. Dude, I'd watch a movie. I don't even care what it's about. If it's MCU and Michael Keaton's in it, I'm watching it.
Exactly.
But this is a little off topic, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Birdman movie. Like the classic character from the 60s.
Oh,
Birdman! Yeah, that guy.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind seeing
Birdman, attorney at law.
Yeah. Man, Adult Swim did a lot for people. Remember the classic characters because of the Adult Swim stuff.
Yep.
But they don't remember the characters, how they actually are good characters. They just remember the Adult Swim characters, so that they know them name only, basically. But man,
I watched Space Ghost all the time before he even had the Coast to Coast talk show.
I did too, man. Space Ghost. Awesome. There was a mini series with cover art by Alex Ross, interior by Ariel Olivetti, written by Joe Kelly. Yes, I remember all the names because it was that good. That's a great series with Space Ghost by DC. Birdman, great concept of a character. It would be more of a kid movie, but the Herculoids, great concept. You had the Galaxy Trio. Yep. I would love to see a Galaxy Trio. That's basically the FF not being the FF.
Man,
it's great.
I watched all that stuff, man. Like, we grew up in the era where reruns were still strong, and all that stuff was still being played on TV like it was new to me.
Yeah,
even if it was like late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, man, you could be talking about the cartoons from the Space Ghost or Johnny Quest. Man, they need a live action Johnny Quest movie.
Yes,
that would be the bomb. And then your dad, you could carry on the same conversation about the first original airing of the same thing you just watched, too. We had a great life, man.
Oh man,
our age group, especially on those.
We had some, like, growing up. You had the cartoons of the 80s and 90s, and you also had the reruns of the 60s and 70s. So we just had all those generations wrapped up in one ball.
Yeah,
and
I remember in one afternoon I could watch, and this was in like 1994. I could watch Thundercats, Birdman, Space Coast, the Herculoids, Voltron, He-Man, Dragon Ball Z, Johnny Bravo, and Dexter's Lab all in the same afternoon.
And let's not forget Thundar the Barbarian as well, man.
Oh, dude,
Thundar!
Hey!
Oh, man.
John will get a kick out of this. And his fabulous sun sword.
I loved that sword, man. There was so many great things.
That was such a lightsaber ripoff, but man, I loved it. And I love how it was in the intro, it was always his fabulous. This was before before that word was associated with any sort of person. The fabulous sun sword.
Oh man. I don't even if we'll get too far off topic if we start talking Saturday morning cartoons, man. But like I said, I love watching all those shows as a kid, even Inspector Gadget and all those Deke shows. Oh man, Thundar the Barbarian, man, that was a classic.
That's Jack Kirby, man. That's Jack Kirby. He helped create that. Man,
a lot of people don't know that.
I'd love a live action of that. He's like Conan, but with really cool sidekicks. Conan's great solo. He doesn't really have that many great sidekicks, but Thundar's basically Conan with awesome sidekicks. You got Thundar, a barbarian with a fabulous sun sword. Then you got Ookla the Muck, who is like Chewie as far as that's his entire language, but yet Thundar knows what he's saying. Yep. And then you got Princess Ariel with her magic. It's awesome.
He got a lot of side chicks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But man, I used to watch that shit thousands of times.
Yeah. I wish they had it. I love the era of streaming, but I hate how you got to have like 50 different streaming things in order to watch what you want to watch. It's not a one size fits all anymore like you had if you have cable or something.
Well, like old school Cartoon Network. When Cartoon Network first started out, it had all those old cartoons like Flintstones, Johnny Quest, Thundar. Hell, it even had fucking James Bond Jr. I forgot about that cartoon until I saw somebody posted on Instagram the James Bond Jr. cartoon. I'm like, shit, I remember this.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's a deep cut, even for me.
Yeah, that was like early 90s when, after the James Bond movies was on hiatus, they did a James Bond Jr. cartoon.
Okay.
I ain't seen that shit in years. But I remember that theme song. So Cartoon Network had all the cartoons. And then once they started developing their own, like Johnny Bravo and Cow and Chicken and Powerpuff Girls, that's when they started veering away from the older cartoons and creating their own.
There was a lull period for I'd say 4 or 5 years where they had that new stuff and the old stuff, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Because the Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Lab, all of those are excellent cartoons.
Yeah.
And you saw them at the same time you saw your James Bond Jr., your Thundercats, He-Man, Johnny Quest, all that stuff.
And then when Toonami was created and they got all the Japanese
Dragon Ball Z,
all the Voltrons, the Gundams. Yeah. Oh man, Sailor Moon.
Yeah, it was like part 1, Ka, part 2, May, part 3, Ha. Take like 5 episodes to get off one Kamehameha.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Come.
Oh man, the 90s was the last great era of cartoons.
Yeah.
And then by 2000s, I kind of fell out of it. There were some good shows. Like I actually enjoyed the Jackie Chan cartoon that was on Saturday morning.
Yeah, but for the most part, most modern cartoons after 2000 were sort of crap. Like a lot of the stuff today, I don't even know if I'd want to watch. I don't even know if it's safe for children. I mean, I'd be scared to death of it.
And it's funny. It's funny. In the 80s, they were making cartoons of rated R movies like Rambo and RoboCop.
Yeah, and they were perfectly fine. And they also had things like He-Man, where he was in a Speedo the whole time, and you were like, "This is perfectly acceptable."
It's like those Got Milk commercials when you drink milk as a boy until you grow up to be muscular and shit. Like that's how I want to be, like He-Man or Conan.
Yeah. That's how you roll back in the day, man. Man, they even had a Chuck Norris cartoon in the 80s.
Oh, the Karate Commandos.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that is Jackie Chan's cartoon took a page out of that, where at the end of all the time, it showed you Chuck Norris, mustachioed Chuck Norris, not full beard Chuck Norris, and he'd give you like a life lesson of the day or something. I believe it. He was that manly. No chest hair, though. It was all downstairs.
Oh, shit. We done went off the rails and then loving it, man.
Yeah. We're all on a crazy train.
Yeah, man. And then the amount of Scooby-Doos I watch. Good Lord.
Man, back in the day when they created Scooby-Doo, that was great and all. But the things that I remember, my favorite things of Scooby-Doo, let me tickle you nostalgia bone right here. Get ready, chap. Vincent Price, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Yes. I loved that whole series.
Yeah, that was the best Scooby-Doo ever, in my opinion, is the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo where Vincent Price was on there.
Awesome, man.
And then a pup named Scooby-Doo in the 90s. That was awesome. I love that. Especially the song, A Pup Named Scooby, Scoob.
You know what was the funniest thing on that show? Was how they used Fred. Fred was always the serious character in Scooby-Doo, but in that pup named Scooby-Doo, Fred was just fucking ridiculous. He always blamed Red Herring.
Yeah. And the great thing is that every time they would have like a dance break or a song number, and they would be chasing that, and you'd have Velma do that. And you're like, get down, Velma.
That shit was awesome, man.
I loved it. That was like the best show ever, man.
Oh, I every time it was on TV, even when I was an adult, I gotta watch it, man, because it was just so funny. It was so funny, man.
The show was so awesome.
But back to Scooby-Doo, in terms of 13 Ghosts, I loved that show. But one character I did not like, and I felt like they created him for the kid version, was Scrappy-Doo. I always thought Scrappy-Doo was fucking annoying in my eyes. It's like whenever you introduce a child version of an adult character, you lose the interest in the adult character that I want to see more of. That's how I felt with Robin with Batman, or the Junior Ghostbusters and Real Ghostbusters. Scrappy-Doo just always want to fight, and I'm like, bitch, get your ass moving.
I can understand that, but you got to admit, though, Scrappy was Scrappy.
Yeah, he was his name.
Out of all those you mentioned, he was the best.
I like Scooby and Shaggy the best, man. Those like the two.
No. I'm talking about junior character. He was the best of all the junior characters.
He was. I will say he was the one that started the junior characters. Like,
yeah, he was the best out of all of them. I actually liked him, but I could see where you're coming from. But the best part wasn't even him or Scooby. It was Vincent Price in the 13 Ghosts. Man, that was so awesome.
Now you make me want to watch that, man. I'm like, God.
Man, it makes me want to go back and watch a Pup Named Scooby Doo just so I can see,
Because I got a couple of them on VHS because I used to record cartoons in the 90s. So I was like, my young brain was thinking, I better record this stuff, man.
Man, I didn't have a brain good enough to think that, so I'm gonna have to go searching on all the streaming stuff or hope it's on YouTube or something. But man, that was so great.
And like growing up, my 3 favorite cartoons was of course Ghostbusters. I loved it, the real Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, and the show that I loved dearly, and they did all the songs, the mainstream songs in their show, and that was Alvin and the Chipmunks. I loved the Chipmunks, man.
Dude, the late 80s Chipmunks, where they were making the movies and everything, is some of the best musical cartoon television you will ever see.
I loved it.
Amazing. Especially with the Chipettes and they got in there. They had the original songs too and the Chipmunk stuff. They were better than the live action Chipmunk movies.
The only decent live action Chipmunks was the first one. It was decent. After that,
any one of the movies from the 80s would wipe it out of the water.
I still watch the Chipmunk Adventure. I still watch that movie.
Yeah. Man, and the Chipmunks were on, and there was another couple things that were on too.
Smurfs.
The Gummy Bears.
The
Gummy Bears was all right. And then the Care Bears, man, with the Care Bear stare.
Yes. Care Bears, Gummy Bears. Disney was hot in the late 80s going into the 90s.
And
DuckTales.
And then, of course, in the 80s, you also had Smurfs, Gargamel, and everyone's name was Smurf, and only one chick to carry on the entire length of the race, They didn't think that through, but boy, we notice it now. We're like, hey, Smurf that.
And then you had the Smurfs ripoff, which was pretty decent, and Snorks.
Yeah, the Snorks was pretty good, man. Oh, dude, the Disney cartoon. I remember that. They had the Mighty Ducks cartoon where they were aliens. You had all the different Jungle Book stuff, like you had the Tailspin. Then you had the best show. Well, actually, the second best show after Tailspin was Darkwing Duck. And then the best show of all was DuckTales. Woo!
They all had banger themes. Like, those themes stick with you forever.
Yeah, man, dude, I could probably sing you the entire thing of the DuckTales theme.
I mean, that song is so iconic. And it's Chip and Dale's theme. Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers. Oh, man, all those songs just stick with you forever.
Chip and Dale's theme song was great, but the show was a bit lower. I would put Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales all above it. But the theme song was like third best. The second best is When There's Trouble You Call DW. And then the best theme song is that bum, 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 life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Man, that was great. We still remember that one. And then everyone loved the woo.
Oh, that's classic.
Tailspin was pretty good, but I'd still put it below the Darkwing, DuckTales, and Chip and Dale song. Man, that was when theme songs mattered. Now you have shows where it's like dun dun. There's your theme song.
No theme at all. They just show the title and then go straight into the show. And this was what everything. This was what everything. Not only the cartoons, but the TV shows.
It's TV shows with everything, but. I do admit I like it in the sense that I get more television show, but it's like, man, you got give me an intro or something.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the intros were the best parts of some of the shows. Like, oh, dude, I don't know why this popped in my head, but I do know why. We're talking theme songs. Banana Splits.
Oh, you taking it back there, bro?
Yeah,
taking it back with the Banana Splits.
Man, the Banana Splits was great. It was another one of those live action things, and in between sandwich was like the Shazam, that cartoon. I love Shazam and all the other cartoons that they had inside of it. And it was,
they had cartoons, live action, like series.
and
then
they had
in the middle, the
competition.
dance off with the banana splits.
Yeah.
Oh man, like
1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4 bananas. And there are many.
It was just so much variety.
Yeah, man.
And the stuff that we watch.
And everyone remembers the theme song. That's one of the oldest theme songs we've mentioned out of all of them, is the Banana Splits. But immediately, la 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 la. You know it. Yeah.
As soon as you said it started ringing in my head, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, Ninja. I want to go back to my childhood, man.
And I mean, we talking like 80s again. 80s, so much cartoons in the 80s. I love and remember fondly the theme song and the show. Up from the depths, 40 stories high, breathing fire, he stands in the sky.
Not coming to my mind.
Godzilla.
See, I didn't watch the Godzilla cartoon as much. I know, I remember, like that theme didn't stick with me as much as the others.
It didn't?
Well, no, it didn't stick with me.
It's one of them that stuck with me. Great show.
I liked it, but it wasn't something that stuck with me. Like the theme song didn't stick with me like a lot of those other iconic themes. Like when you were singing it, I was like, damn, I'm trying to remember this, but I can't. And then when you said Godzilla, and first thing come to my mind was Cwtcc, because that was the character I remember the most. Like, Godzilla got a son?
Yeah. Which is actually not just a cartoon thing. He actually had a son in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
But I don't know I don't think it was Godzilla, though. I mean, Cwtcc.
No, it was never called Cwtcc. That's why I was like, wait, what? I didn't remember Cwtcc having this name. But I do remember the Godzilla and Son movie.
He's talking that he never left his childhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that was so many good cartoons back in the day. I just remembered another set of cartoons from the famous film director Steven Spielberg. We have not touched on a single one yet.
Muppet Babies?
No.
Oh.
Animaniacs.
Oh, yeah.
Freakazoid, man.
Freakazoid. Like the mid-90s, when Animaniacs started out, that Tiny Toon Adventures, I used to watch the hell out of those cartoons.
Yeah.
Animaniacs was adult humor.
Yeah.
Like, you really, like, us kids watched that shit, but adults watched it too because it was just
famous example of that is, we need fingerprints. And she's like, okay. And it's holding prints in her arms. She got fingerprints.
And then another one was Pinky and the Brain. I loved that cartoon.
Oh, yeah, man. That was great. What we got to do today, Brain? The same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Yep.
Yeah, John just mentioned it. But, yes, Freakazoid was one of the lesser ones.
I wish that lasted longer.
But it's best. It's the best.
I was so disappointed that it got canceled after one season. I'm like, man, that show was great. Man.
I love that. That cartoon is so funny. Especially when, it's basically Deadpool before Deadpool.
Yes.
If you explain it that way to people, they'll be like, I need to see this cartoon. And
Freakazoid was freaking amazing. I always say Freakazoid was freaking amazing because it's Freakazoid, man.
Yeah. And he had a great theme song too. Freak of me, freak of you. Freakazoid thing. It's not as memorable, but when you hear it, you're like, yeah, because it's
like good. Freakazoid, you and me. it was such a great song. Yeah. But like you said, it wasn't as memorable as Animaniacs. Yeah. Like Animaniacs, we're Animaniacs. Mm-hmm. There's so much good songs in there. Yeah. Tiny Toon Adventures had great.
Yeah, and
I see what you do. I see what you're doing there, John. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
But man, yeah, those were all by Steven Spielberg. I don't know how he managed to get Fox to let him take over, but they were great cartoons, but had something for the adults too. So if you watch any Animaniac episode, just about any Pinky and the Brain episode, and definitely any Freakazoid episode, you'll be having stomach pains laughing as an adult now.
Yep. Hell, my dad used to watch those shows with me. He loved them.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that sometimes hurted those cartoons, because they made them for kids, but yet adults watched them just as more as the kids did.
Yeah.
And when they saw that they was getting more ratings from the adults than the kids, they like, wait a minute now, this is supposed to be for kids. But when you got adult humor, the adults are gonna watch it and they're gonna catch on to it and they're gonna enjoy it.
There was no, the only adult cartoon at the time was The Simpsons. And there was no South Park, there was no American Dad, there was no Family Guy. So that's what adults watched if they wanted to get a good laugh and have a cartoon. And that nowadays we have adult stuff for us, like the Harley Quinn show on the DC, which is great, by the way. And then we have, the Star Wars animated stuff, South Park, Family Guy, American Dad. Still have The Simpsons, although apparently it's gone downhill, I've been told. I don't watch The Simpsons. I've never seen them.
I have not watched The Simpsons since probably the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And when you really look at that, I feel like that show went way past expiration date. That show lasted longer than people who lived, who was born in the 90s and didn't make it into the 2000s or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's older. I think it's like a year or two older than I am. But, man, is it just going to be us the entire time? I feel like the chat's like laughing with us, and yet no one's joining.
I don't really care. I really don't care no more, man. We just having a blast.
Either. I'm just saying, if someone else has something we're forgetting, we'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I sent John the link. He's probably still doing yard work while listening to us. If anybody wants to jump in, I'll put the link in the chat.
I think we've just about named every good cartoon of the 80s and 90s.
I did mention Jim Henson's Muppet Babies. This was during a time where Muppets were huge. Like, I used to watch the Muppet movies a lot as a kid.
Oh, yeah, Muppet movies, man. I remember some of those.
Kermit the Frog and Piglet.
I always do what?
You know what other cartoons I used to love watching on Saturday mornings? Like, it used to start at 8 o'clock. And that was like its set time for many years. And that was Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
Yeah. The new adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And I always liked his adventures with Christopher Robin and Piglet and
I gotta be in the mood for Winnie the Pooh, because that's like a good story, light.
Yeah. It's not
heavy. It's just a good little moral.
It's a good, fun story.
Yeah, I gotta be in the mood.
But I always resonated with me because that's a child, Christopher Robin, thinking of these imaginary friends. And that's something that's always been involved with kids. We always had these imaginary friends, and yet they did it well with Winnie the Pooh, even back when it first started in the 60s.
Cardstock variant, Secret Squirrel, and Heathcliff. Yeah, we mentioned Dexter's Lab. Heathcliff, I never saw that many episodes of that one. I think that one kind of died out in the early 80s.
Wait, so you never watched Heathcliff?
No, I've seen Heathcliff, just not that much. But I definitely remember Secret Squirrel. Man, I love that. Secret Squirrel.
Secret Squirrel was the shit.
That was his theme song, basically. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then you had Mole, and he had a lisp, and the mole was actually the better secret agent.
I always liked that episode of Secret Squirrel when, he chases after that dude in the car, and it was just like complete wrecks all the way through, and Secret still gets the guy. You think he got away, but he gets into a crash because he's not paying attention to the road.
Yeah.
Secret Squirrel was great, man. But when it comes to Heathcliff, I was a bigger Garfield fan because I love the Lorenzo Music's voice.
I've seen more Garfield than I have Heathcliff.
But Heathcliff was great in its own because he was just like a badass street alley cat, with great friends.
Yeah. I believe I forget his name, but the guy that voices Heathcliff is the same guy that voiced Bugs Bunny and all those other guys, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, that's hilarious that he banned Winnie the Pooh because people make jokes about him in Winnie the Pooh. That's how you know you're not in a free country.
It's crazy, man. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, man. That's Winnie the Pooh.
Pooh
And
Bear,
and
Winnie the
Winnie the Pooh
Pooh
got
Bear.
Winnie the Pooh got so many memes, and then he got his own comic. Do you
Yeah,
poo? I'm
you
like, what the fuck?
you know that you have a good character when his name is Winnie the Pooh, and there aren't that many poo as in feces jokes concerning the character. That's how you know it's a respected, good, long-lasting character.
Yes, you can't make jokes on that name when
Nah,
it's Winnie the Pooh, and
or
the
Pooh
fact
Bear,
that
and you know what everybody's talking about, and you're not going to make jokes.
like Tony Baker do some good voiceovers whenever it's a bear, and he comes in as Winnie the Pooh, and he says Christopher Robin. He's like, I know you got some honey for me, Christopher Robin.
Man, I would love to have someone who voices who can do the voice of Winnie the Pooh. Do like one of those animals attack video and have like a bear standing around, be like Christopher Robin, and then the bear attacks the guy. And you're like, whoa, that would be hilarious to me.
Yeah,
Or have like a tiger attack and just right before the tiger pounces on the dude, go, you know.
that's another aspect of cartoons that we haven't touched on is the voice acting and the iconic voices behind
Yeah.
them. You know, like
Now, a lot of times the voice actor isn't nowhere near as famous as like an on-screen actor, but that's only because all you do is hear their voice. But Mel Blanc,
yes,
I
Mel
think, is
Blanc.
the name of the guy that done all the classic voices like Daffy, Bugs, and all them. I think he even worked for Heathcliff. And then you have the actors. I forget the girl. This girl voices Timmy Turner on The Fairly Odd Parents, which is a great cartoon that we have not mentioned yet. And this one girl voices a lot of characters, including Timmy, and she's like a famous voice actress. Then you got the guy that did the voice of Fry, and then you have Tom Kenny that does SpongeBob. I mean, there's a lot of great voice actors out there and now they're in video games too. It used to be
Yep.
cartoons. Now they have great voice actors for like video games, like all the Critical Role crew that plays Dungeons and Dragons, which is what I know them from. It's Matt Mercer who did a lot of voice acting on different video games. You had The Last of Us voice actor Ashley Johnson. Laura Bailey's a very famous voice actor, and so is her husband, Travis Willingham, on different stuff. I mean, yeah, voice actors are awesome.
Yeah, and I like how they could change their voices on different characters, to fit the character. But one iconic voice actor is Frank Welker. And I was so upset that I didn't get a chance to meet him because him and Peter Cullen was at MegaCon for only Thursday and Friday, and I was only going on the Saturday. I really wanted to meet both of those guys, man. Oh, see a bug?
Yeah, I got to fly. But for how long? Yeah, it's going to be a while. He's going a little crazy. He's punch drunk. He's flying all over the place.
Don't become the Fly.
Yeah, we'll just let him. We'll let him be.
Yeah, but I was so disappointed that I didn't get to meet those two because those guys were my favorite voice actors from the Transformers. Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Yeah,
those were my two favorites.
Yeah, we had some voice actors at the Huntsville convention.
I was happy though. I got to meet Kevin Conroy, iconic voice of Batman.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done other work, but that he don't have to. It's Batman's what he is known for. But yeah, the guy that voices Winnie the Pooh now, and
Jim Cummins.
Yeah, he was one of them at our convention.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's got a lot of voices under his name.
Yeah, he's another one that did a lot of voices.
Yeah. And now the pause.
Yeah, man. I feel like we done spent a lot of energy on that, man.
Yeah, we did. Well, we've been talking for 2 hours and 14 minutes. So
yeah, nobody else is interested in joining.
Yeah, so I think we're about run the course.
Plus, you need to get that fly out there.
I'm fine. It's just annoying having flies.
Exactly. You see them, and I can't even think of the modern actors who did the voices of the recent Transformers shows, because all I can think of is Peter Cullen and Frank Welker's voices.
Well, they had Peter Cullen is still the voice in the movies and all that. It's still his voice as Optimus Prime.
Yeah. But when it comes to the recent cartoons and stuff, there's some different voices. And
I have no idea.
Well, that's going to do it for today. We had a great conversation. Thanks, Big Will, for joining. We had a blast. And hopefully next week we'll have a bigger supporting cast on the show. But like I said, things change from week to week. Some weeks we'll get a couple people.
His name is Keith David Shop, and he is great. That whole cartoon is amazing. And we didn't mention gargoyles.
I was going to mention it, but then you talked about something else, and I got distracted. But man, gargoyles was phenomenal.
I've watched some episodes on Disney Plus. It is a great show.
Up until the third season.
I actually like the third season, but I could see where it is not the best season. I could see where some people would like just first, second, and then be done.
Yeah, because that third season for me is just weak. Like after the first episode, the episodes after that was just not as good as the previous two seasons.
The third season's where they changed it to the Goliath Chronicles.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that good deep voice is Keith David on Goliath. And Sarah Richardson is the voice of Elisa Maza. And Bridget Baku is the voice of Angela, Goliath's daughter. And a lot of Star Trek people actually, oddly enough, played voices on that show. Like Cold Stone was Worf. That was him. Xanatos, the evil bad guy.
I love Xanatos, man.
That was Jonathan Frakes.
He was so perfect.
Yes, he was. Jonathan Frakes did that voice, and that was.
I felt like the character model was him all the way.
And it was the evil version of Commander Riker. That was Xanatos.
Yeah,
and they got the guy to do it. And then the Betazoid, Deanna Troi, is the actress's name is what's her name? The
Marina Sirtis.
Oh yeah, Ramona Sirtis. Anyway, she voiced Demona on Gargoyles.
Demona was a great character.
It's an excellent character.
Excellent character. I liked the depth of that show and the storytelling, the character development. Macbeth, they took Macbeth and made him a really good character.
I have never seen someone take the William Shakespeare works, put them into some sort of show or animation as well as the Gargoyles show.
Yes.
That was amazing. I mean, you had the whole Midsummer Night's Dream. You had Puck. You had Avalon in there. They did a whole thing about Oberon and the magic and everything. And Macbeth, like you mentioned, it was so good.
That's why those 2 seasons, especially the second season, was so phenomenal to watch. Like I remember coming home from school and that used to come on 4:30. I had to make sure I watched Gargoyles because that was like a continuing storyline and you was invested in it. And then they put it on Saturday mornings and it just lost all its deep meanings that those 2 seasons had.
Yeah, but I still love it, man. It's a great show. Expertly done. Yeah, see, they got more time out of us now because they mentioned something. See, y'all need to get on here and you can mention the stuff we forget and we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, because Gargoyles is like that show was so phenomenal with great voice acting and great stories that we can dissect just those 2 seasons and really go for them themes that they was telling because man.
I just wish I had a list of all the different One great reason to love Star Trek is a lot of those people were on Gargoyles. It would be nice to have a list of all the different actors. I just gave you 3. There's more.
Yeah, there's more.
There's a lot more.
And that's why whenever I watch Gargoyles, I feel like I'm watching an offshoot of Star Trek, but just with Gargoyles and Shakespearean themes. And we all know Picard,
Yeah, Shakespeare, man.
Shakespeare. So,
yeah.
That show was phenomenal. Like, I feel like you like the 3rd season. I was like, on the 3rd season. But I felt like if they would have stayed on weekdays, it could have been much better in terms of if they did more seasons.
May have been, but long story short on that, it is on Disney Plus. Go watch it. You'll thank us later.
Yes, if you have not seen Gargoyles, go on Disney Plus and watch that show.
Yeah,
especially the first 2 seasons; those were the best.
And just to give you an idea of the show, it's a children's show with a 5-part episode intro.
And another thing about it, that wasn't even really a children's show. That was very adult.
Yeah.
Very adult. I mean, it even had an episode that dealt with the problem of guns and Elisa getting shot.
Yeah.
There were some very strong themes in this show.
Although now that I look back on it, that's more of a problem of Broadway. It needs to just don't mess with other people's crap.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was something that they didn't do. And in reruns, they took the blood away.
Yes.
They actually had blood.
You know what episode irritated the hell out of me when I watched it on Disney? Was when they was fighting the pack and they had the robot Xanatos and Goliath kicked his head off and they completely edited that out of the fucking Disney reruns. I was like, what the fuck? I loved it that part when he kicked off Fox's head. And I'm like, yo, I can't watch this shit, man.
On Disney Plus or just the rerun?
No, when they played it on the Disney Channel. The reruns on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, they edited
a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, but I don't think they did on Disney Plus. I think it's original.
No, they didn't. It's original. Plus, I got the DVD, so I got my backups.
Man, DVD. I got the VHS of the first few episodes, the movie that they did.
I still got mine too.
And mine was the one that came with the board game.
I just got the VHS, man.
Yeah, well, I don't have the board game anymore. I probably don't even have the VHS anymore, but I remember that.
Oh, man. So many great memories, man.
Yeah.
But I'm about to end it now before somebody bring up something and we can continue on because nobody wants to jump on, man. But it was great chatting with you, Will. I'll be back next week. I'll be on the Comic Call tonight, Comic Call and Roundtable discussion, so check that out. And we'll probably have a Silver Age Sunday show tomorrow. Cookie will be.
Oh, go ahead and finish what you were going to say.
Cookie will probably be hosting that, so check out Just a Little Podcast.
And after you watch that, remember Sunday night, 9 Central, playing D&D on my channel with some of the guys.
Awesome. So that's our weekend for y'all. I hope y'all have a great rest of your Saturday and Sunday. And join us next week where we might talk some more cartoons. we don't know. We don't get no people. We'll just talk cartoons and anything that come to mind. So later, y'all. Peace out.